Virginia Governor Welf Northam proposed gun confiscation orders that would criminalize of private gun sales and assault weapons ban and other gun controls on Friday. The governor claimed these controls will reduce gun violence, although all evidence actually points to the contrary. The governor tweeted, quote, "This morning I announced a broad package of reasonable legislation to prevent gun violence and improve Virginia's public safety. I look forward to having a dialogue with the General Assembly this season on these important issues." The state of California already has gun confiscation orders, but that did not prevent the November 7, 2018 firearm attack on the Borderland Bar and Grill, where 12 people were killed in the attack. Florida has also gun confiscation orders, but that did not prevent the August 26, 2018 Jacksonville Landing attack that killed 3 people. And as for the criminalization of private gun sales, California has had such a law since the early 1990s, but it has done nothing to prevent the rampant high-profile attacks that have occurred in the last 20 years. Governor Northam is also pushing an assault weapons ban, which Maryland has, but which has done nothing to stop the death and carnage that marks the city of Baltimore. As for the criminalization of private gun sales, such a control would have done nothing to stop a single mass shooting in the 21st century, because nearly every mass shooter got his guns via the black market and background checks. The exceptions are those who stole them. Despite the rampant failures, Northam claims his gun control package will work if tried in Virginia. You know, this reminds me of that story back in November where this Maryland man was murdered by the police because they went to his house under a protective order to seize his guns. And he didn't want to give up his gun, so, well, there was a standoff and he ended up dying. Do you think the forefathers would be pleased to see this? Do you think people like George Washington and John Adams, Benjamin Franklin, Thomas Jefferson, James Madison, etc., do you think any of these men would be pleased to see how tyrannical the liberal left has become? Or America has become in terms of this damn gun confiscation, gun control bullcrap? No, they've rolled around in their grave over 10 times by now. And it's just madness to think about. We have a constitution that declares us American citizens have the right to bear arms. And the Democrats like to get into the needy details and saying, no, the Second Amendment was only created for those guns where you have to actually put the powder in and the little ball bullet and, you know, like the guns they used to use in the 1800s. No, it reaches all firearms. And how the Democrats and liberals who are obsessed with racism actually forget that gun control was brought on by the racists of America. Because gun control actually came about after the Jim Crow era, or during, or whatever, where black people were, seen as citizens in America and able to have guns. And so the racist white Democrats, ironically, wanted to stop these black Americans from obtaining any sort of firearms. And from there, it's just mutated until garbage like it is now. But it's 100% unconstitutional. Any sort of gun control is unconstitutional. I don't care if you're banning a specific type of bullet or if you're banning a bump stock. Any sort of banning of any sort of firearm or whatever may have you is unconstitutional. That man that died in Maryland, I hope his family sued the crap out of that state, because the measure of how his guns were confiscated is unconstitutional, and the whole gun confiscation thing in itself is unconstitutional. This man died protecting his rights because the state of Maryland is ran by a bunch of idiot liberals who do not know how to read statistics. This is it. The liberals in America are either stupid because they do not know how to understand statistics, or that they're malicious in nature with their gun control, meaning that they don't care about the statistics. They know the statistics of gun control and disarming the populace and what that actually does to the society at large. So far we've had 3 states in the union who have gone about this gun confiscation crap. California, that's kind of like, oh, oopsie, that's a obvious right there. California being extremely liberal, or at least in the high populated urban areas. We have Maryland, and now we're going to have Virginia. It seems like a pattern is being created here. But let me tell you the statistics of this crap. You see, London, you can't have guns in London, or the UK, or most of Europe for that matter. But especially in the United Kingdom, in London per se, you're not allowed to have guns. Does that stop violence? Absolutely not. And now it's so bad that they're talking about banning knives because knife attacks are up, 80-something%. Also, alongside with that, acid attacks are also up in London. And then you have anti-Semitic attacks being, what is it? I think it's up 70% 70% up in Germany. And the politicians there scratch their head and they wonder why this is happening. You import these people from a third world country that have a reputation of hating women, hating Jews, hating anything of a sort that is different from them, especially Christians and what have you, known to be violent. What do you think is going to happen in your country? Exactly what's happening in Europe. So I have no sympathy for them, or at least the politicians. I have sympathy for the people of these countries, but not the politicians per se, because they're the idiots who brung this about. But here in America, we need to look at what happens in the rest of the world when the population is disarmed. It's not good. It does not end well. It does not make a society more peaceful. It does not make a society more safe when the population, the law-abiding citizens, do not have firearms, do not have the right to protect themselves, and don't have to rely on the government or the police to come and swoop in and save them. That's what makes America so prosperous, is because it's down to the individual to make his life, to make himself safe, and etc. And we see, places where guns are, the people are not allowed to have guns. What happens? The government runs rampant, completely tyrannical over the population. And the population cannot do anything because they do not have the means to do anything. And this is just part of the whole socialist, communist fantasy of the left. You see, they know that they cannot get their socialist utopia when people of America can defend themselves. So they're going state by state to try to disarm as many people as they can, or make it illegal to not own guns, because that's their end game here. You see, you hear these liberal left saying, oh, it's common sense gun reform. And we heard from the Hillary Clinton leaks during 2016 that the whole common sense gun legislation is basically, we want to disarm people. That's all it is. And anybody with over 100-point IQ can see this, which is all of you listening. I would be extremely worried for the people in Virginia, Maryland, and California, and any other state that goes along with this gun confiscation orders and what have you. Because statistically, historically speaking, a disarmed populace is a dangerous populace. Because the criminals of that population do not care if you're not allowed to have guns, because a lot of them are not allowed to have guns because they are felons in the first place. So they don't care about freaking gun control legislation. They're going to get their guns on the black market anyway. Gun control only harms and affects the people, the law-abiding citizens who are seeking to defend themselves. Those are the only people that gun legislation hurts. And the liberal left know this. I mean, the liberal left politicians know this. The random liberal voter does not know this because they don't like statistics, because statistics are racist, bigoted, and what have you. So they kind of avoid those. But I feel sorry for the people in Virginia, and if your state keeps doing this, I would recommend moving, because what happened in Maryland is not a one-if situation. It's going to happen again. People who defend themselves, who defend their rights, get killed for that because the state decides, well, you're not allowed to have a gun anymore. Like that's not what America was built on. So you guys let me know what you thought about this in the comment section below. And if you guys want to read the article of where that man was killed, the link to that will be in the description box below. And that's it for this video. Peace out, guys.